Hey y'all! All right now, so I am back with video number 5 of the First Time Home Buyer Bootcamp, and today we're going to talk about appraisals, title work, and closings. So, appraisals. Appraisals are something that you pay for, but it is actually for the lender. All right, an appraisal confirms that the home is worth what you're paying for, okay? And it's worth at least what you're paying for. It could be worth more, but at least. So, in your contract, especially here in Kentucky, Louisville area, it has a clause that if you are getting money from a lender, the home has to appraise for the contract amount, essentially. Okay, so if you're offering $250,000 on a home, the home has to appraise for at least $250,000. It can appraise for $260,000, $270,000, $280,000, but at minimum, it must appraise for $250,000. And the best way that I can explain that is nobody is going to give you more money than what a house is worth. So if your house is only worth $100,000, nobody in their right mind would give you $150,000 for a $100,000 home. It don't make no sense. So it's the same concept here. Your lender is not going to give you $250,000 on a home that's only worth $200,000. Okay, because the way they look at it is if you default on that home and that home has to go into foreclosure, get resold, whatever the case may be, they want to make sure they can recoup their funds. Okay, so it is something that you pay for, and it ensures that you know what your home is worth, but it is mainly for the lender. Now, say the home does not appraise for that amount. A couple of things can happen. So say, for instance, you're trying to buy a home, $250,000, it comes back at $240,000. So you have a couple of things. The seller agent will try to figure out why it came back at $240,000 and not $250,000. Okay, that's what they're going to try to figure out. That's their job to do. Now, it could be that, say that seller did a kitchen remodel, right? They put $50,000 into their kitchen. That could justify the $240,000 to the $250,000. Okay, so if they can provide, if the seller and the seller's agent can provide some type of documentation to help justify this cost, they can send it over to the appraiser. The appraiser will look at it and they'll say, yay or nay. But if they say nay and it still comes back at $240,000 versus your $250,000, well then your agent will go to the seller and say, your home is only worth $240,000. That's what my client is going to pay. And then they can either say yay or nay. Chances are they're going to say yay, because if they said no and put the home back on the market, this appraisal is not going to change. But ultimately, if you can't get an appraisal to say that the home is worth what your loan amount is, then you have to go back and renegotiate with the seller to come to a new amount, okay? That's the easiest way to explain appraisal. Is just make sure you're getting your value, okay? Now, while the appraisal is happening, because see, there are a lot of things happening in the back end that you may not know about. So as the appraisal is happening, you also have title work going on. And title work just ensures that the parties that are selling the home are legally able to sell the home. There are no additional liens on the homes, you know, things like that. And that the parties purchasing are legally able to purchase. So, for example, here in Kentucky, if you are legally married, okay, legally married, and you say you separated, okay? Been separated for 10 years or so, okay? But you never legally got a divorce. Well, when you were married, you bought this house together, you separated, you ain't lived in that house, you don't care if he or she sells that home. Well, whenever your ex-spouse or your separated spouse decides to sell that home, you still have to go down there and sign the deed to the house because you're married. He or she cannot sell the house without your permission. Or if you're buying the house, say for instance you're buying and the loan is in your spouse's name. Well, the loan is in your spouse's name, financing is done in your spouse's name, but because you all are legally married, you still have to go to the closing table and sign the deed. You're not signing any financial obligation, but you are signing that you're part owner of this home. So title work ensures that everybody, that the people saying they can sell this house can sell it, the people saying they could buy the house can buy it, okay? And then once the appraisal comes back, the title work is done, everybody's good to go, we're gonna start scheduling a closing, okay? That's when shit gets fun, okay? That's when you get excited again. Because at this point, when you get your scheduled closing, that's the day you're gonna take possession. Well, that is the day you're gonna sign the paperwork of your home. And I limited myself on saying take possession because you may not take possession the same day that you sign your paperwork, but that's a whole nother video, okay? That is a whole nother video. But essentially, appraisal, title work, you get a date to close, and then you are about 2 steps away from being in your own home, okay? So stay tuned. Video number 6, we're gonna talk about the final walkthrough, okay? Final walkthrough, going to the closing table, and then taking possession of the home. It's gonna be fun, y'all. Stay tuned. Last video, I'm gonna bundle it all up.